Hello everyone and welcome to another short video on Splunk Observability. I'm Dan Gray from Somerford Associates, and today we're going to be talking about synthetic monitoring, which will give you uptime and performance tracking and reporting. It allows you to easily measure, report and create dashboards to show your SLAs for availability and performance. It can help you improve your user journeys by testing and improving your page speed and functionality for all your page resources throughout your entire user flow. Some really cool features are film strips, screenshots and recorded screen playback, which will allow you to see exactly how your end users experience your site, both on web and mobile. And also it gives you some competitive benchmarks. You can compare your site performance to the competition and industry standards in order to prioritize improvements. So here we are in our Splunk Observability Cloud, and we're in the Synthetics tab. Just to set the scene for today's video, we've been tasked to create a 24/7 monitoring solution for our application, where we'll be alerted when a problem has arisen. We've been asked to sample every 1 minute and check the performance and availability of a typical user journey through our online web store. And what you'll be met with when you click into the Synthetics tab is all of the tests that are currently active. And for today's video, we're going to navigate to the test that I've set up against our online web store. And when we click through, we're going to be met with a bunch of metrics that have been reported by these tests. So we can see the run duration over the last 8 days and also over the last day. We can see some uptime trends. And down here we can see a graph that shows our performance KPIs, and that is defaulted to run duration. Now, run duration is a helpful metric in and of itself, but we've had some reports of sluggish responsiveness from our website. So I'm going to check the first byte time. And if you don't know, the time to first byte, or first byte time, is a measurement that's used as an indication of responsiveness of a web server or other resource. It measures the duration from the user or client making a HTTP request to the first byte of that page being received by the client's browser. And a metric of 0.8 seconds is a good response for this. So as we can see, the graph's changed here, and what I'm going to do is look at one of the instances that's just happened. And our time to first byte is a lot higher than we'd hope. And we can see that this test has originated in an AWS Frankfurt instance. And as I click that, we'll get some more information about it here. So we can see that multiple runs were found. And I'm going to click this one here where the value is up at 28 seconds. That is a lot higher than we'd hope. Now we're going to be brought through to details of that test. There's a few cool things to show off on this page. So the first thing to show is that we have a video here of our synthetic test. Maximize that and press play. I'm going to whiz ahead in the interest of time. So the synthetic monitoring has tried to purchase an air plant, and they're on the checkout page. And what they're going to do is they're going to hit place order. And you might notice that the information here is not anonymized. That's because it's synthetic and we don't need any pesky real users to do this testing. And we can see as I talk, it's been a painful amount of time before any sort of responsiveness has happened. So clearly something's going wrong as the test has pressed place order. And eventually, that order's going to go through. There we go. Now as we noticed, that was a painful amount of time. So we wouldn't want a real user to be subject to that. But what the video shows is the exact user experience, or what the user would experience if this wasn't a synthetic test. Also, in addition to the video, we have this film strip here, where we can go second by second and browse through and see where that delay has happened. And we can see as we go here from 32 seconds the synthetic test was waiting through to 65 seconds. Now as we scroll down, we have different elements of the transaction that we can investigate. Here we can see this little bar here indicates the time. Everything looks pretty good there. Click through to the shop element of the transaction. Again, No large delays there. Cart, also fine. And here's where we're expecting to see a problem. If I click place order, wow, immediately we can see that there was some sort of delay here. So we can see that the time to first byte on that was 28.96 seconds, which is a painful amount of time to wait if you're trying to check out in a store. And what synthetic monitoring enables us to do, we've been able to, without subjecting our actual users to our web store, we've done this synthetically. We've found that there's something not quite right with our checkout process. And what we can then do is we can interrogate that. Now, synthetic monitoring, helpfully, has this link here through to APM. And if we click that, we'll be brought to APM, which gives us a real detailed view of this application. So in summary, we were able to use synthetic monitoring to set up a 24/7 monitoring solution for our web store. We were able to interrogate our key KPIs and see where we were hitting the mark and, more importantly, where we missed the mark. We used the time to first byte metric to find a test where things didn't go quite right, and we were able to deep dive into the results of that test in a variety of different ways. We could use the screenshots and film strips to see where the latency was happening, or we could use the recorded screen playback to see the synthetic test from start to finish. We were able to use the waterfall view to find out exactly where in the process the latency was happening, and finally we would be able to click through into APM to really interrogate that application very closely and find out what's happening. If you've enjoyed what you've seen today and would like to get hands-on with Splunk Observability, we do run a workshop where you can do just that. If you have any questions, please email them over at info@somerfordassociates.com. If you'd like to keep notified about future webinars and workshops, follow us on LinkedIn. And if you have missed a webinar, check out our YouTube channel, which contains many webinars on Splunk Observability, Splunk Core, and many of the other products that we work with. And the final thing to say is thank you for your time today.